Hello friends. In our previous videos lectures on Fourier transforms, we had come up to the level of solving problems using definition of Fourier transform, inversion, then application of Parseval's. Whereas today we are going to look at one more category, which is problems based on properties of Fourier transform. So when you want to talk about usage of application of the properties of Fourier transform in problems, we definitely have to again have definition application, inversion application, Parseval's application, and the application of some of the statements of the properties that we have already studied. So we shall take up one problem in detail and do various subdivisions. So I'll start with the question. The question reads, find the Fourier transform of the function f of x, where f of x is given to be e to the power minus mod x. And then he says, hence deduce and also find the following. So deduce that. So he has given us various results which we have to prove. So the results are already given. Integral 0 to infinity cos of xt divided by 1 plus t square dt, and that's to be equal to pi by e power minus mod x, which is nothing but f of x by 2. The second subdivision given to us to be proved is 0 to infinity dx by 1 plus x square the whole square. So I'm sure you must be getting some ideas if you have seen my previous videos. So which topic to apply for to get which integral. Then the third and the fourth are the two applications of the properties. So we need to prove here that it's I into root of 2 by pi into 2s divided by 1 plus s square the whole square. So that's the Fourier transform which we have to prove. And then the fourth one is the Fourier transform of e power minus mod x cos 2x, and we need to show that to be equal to root of 2 by pi, okay, into s square plus 5 divided by s power 4 minus 6s square plus 25. So these are the four results we are supposed to be deriving after we do the find the Fourier transform. So we have totally about 5 subdivisions if you are able to see it carefully, and we shall go one by one ahead, and we shall start with first e power minus mod x Fourier transform. As you know that there is no mention of the limits here, meaning that the limits of x vary from minus infinity to plus infinity. So let's start off our solution with the first part. The first part being finding out the Fourier transform. So it will be to find the Fourier transform of e power minus mod x. The limits of x vary from minus infinity to plus infinity. So as we normally do, the given function here is f of x, isn't it? So here f of x is given to be e to the power minus mod x, and the limits of x vary from minus infinity to infinity. So what is the first step that we normally do? We check the nature of the function. So we replace x by minus x. So it becomes e to the power minus mod x, mod of minus x. So which will naturally be, I'm sure you all agree, that mod of minus x is equal to mod x. And the limits here will be minus infinity less than minus x less than infinity. So what have we proved finally? F of minus x is also equal to e to the power minus x and minus mod x, and in the interval minus infinity to infinity, because we know the inequality a less than or equal to minus x less than or equal to b if and only if minus b less than or equal to x less than or equal to minus a. So if you look at 1 and 2, so 1 and 2 both tell us that in the same interval minus infinity to infinity, f of minus x is equal to f of x. So what have we proved therefore? So we have now proved that f of x is an even function of x. So we have now found the nature of f of x. Having found the nature of f of x, I'm sure you know that we will now find out the nature of, therefore, the nature of f of x cos of sx and the nature of f of x sine of sx is what we need to find now. I'm sure by now you are all aware that this is the procedure we adopt. So because f of x is even, cos is an even function, product of two even functions is even, so the f of x cos sx is also an even function of x. Similarly, the other function, if you see f of x is even, sine function is always an odd function, the product of the two is again an odd function of x. So knowing these two natures, we can now start off with the definition and can go ahead to find out its Fourier transform. So by definition of Fourier transform, what is my next step? So let me write down the definition, which we are all aware, that the Fourier transform of f of x is equal to 1 by root 2 pi integral minus to plus infinity f of x e to the power isx dx. Now before going ahead, what did we say we will do? We said we will substitute for e power isx as cos sx plus I sin sx and split the two integrals. So what happens when we split the two integrals? This becomes 1 by root 2 pi integral minus to plus infinity f of x cos of sx dx plus I times, so I by root 2 pi integral minus to plus infinity f of x sin sx dx. So we have done the splitting of the two integrals, and now we need to define which is even and which is odd. So we have now judged this is even and this is odd, and whatever the odd integral that we have is, we cut it out and make it 0, and whichever the even integral is, we rewrite it as 2 times. So therefore the Fourier transform of, never forget the left hand side, keep writing it, and because this is an even integral, it's 2 by root 2 pi integral 0 to infinity f of x into cos of sx dx is our result, isn't it? Now comes the time to substitute f of x. What are we given? We are given f of x is equal to e to the power minus mod x, as the limits are from minus infinity to plus infinity, but what we require is only from 0 to upper limit will be infinity. So there is no change in our limits right now, so it will be root of 2 by pi 0 to infinity, and the function that we are given, let us now substitute that. So we are substituting it later. So I'm sure this you have all understood by now if you have seen my previous 3 videos where we elaborately solved 3 different problems. Now this becomes root of 2 by pi, and now look at the definition of mod x. If you recall, what is mod x? Mod x takes the value x when x is positive and it takes the value minus x when x is negative. We are talking about positive x, isn't it? Because it's from 0 to infinity. So which function, which x, mod x is the which value that you would be taking? You will be taking x because x is greater than or equal to 0. And now let me rewrite the integral as 0 to infinity e to the power minus x cos sx dx. What is the reason that we have written here? Since mod x is equal to x when x is positive. Fine. Now we have removed the modulus, we have brought it down into very simple integral, and now we have to use which formula? Can we use Bernoulli rule? No, we cannot use Bernoulli. We do not have any polynomial here, but we do have a formula to help us in this regard, and I'm sure you all will agree that we have a formula something like e power ax cos bx dx. I'm sure this formula is a very standard one in integration, which is given by e power ax by a square plus b square into a cos bx plus b sin bx. Now that's the formula we have. Now we are going to use here what is a and what is b here in our problem. If you look at the power of e, here a is coefficient of x in the power of e is minus 1, and b is the coefficient of x in cos term, which is nothing but s. Now let me keep this in mind and then go ahead and write down the Fourier transform of f of x. So we know Bernoulli rule here. It's an application of a formula. So let's quickly write down the formula application. Let me start with the flower bracket. So it's e to the power minus x because a is minus 1 by minus 1 the whole square. That's a square plus s square. I'll open the square bracket. A cos bx. A is minus 1 cos bx, which is sx, plus b is s sine bx, which is sx. So I complete the integration now. I close the square bracket, close the flower bracket, and write down the limits I have to apply. Now I have used this formula. I'm sure this formula is not new to you. So it's a direct application. We have been using Bernoulli rule continuously in previous few problems, but here it's another direct application of another simple formula. Now comes the substitution of the upper limit. I am sure if you do not know the value of e power minus infinity, because when I am substituting the upper limit infinity here in this place, it becomes e power minus infinity. E power minus infinity is 0, so the upper limit complete contribution is 0, and therefore this becomes root of 2 by pi into, I start with the upper limit, which is 0, minus the lower limit substitution. I am replacing x by 0. So I'm sure again, let us recall e power 0 is 1, cos 0 is 1, and sine 0 is 0. So making use of these results, let us now substitute and see what is the contribution of the lower limit. So e power 0 is 1, so it is 1 by 1 plus s square. Okay, now I'll open the bracket. Now comes the next question, minus cos 0. So that's minus 1. Sine 0 is 0. So I have completed with this now, and then I close the bracket. So what is the result I get therefore? So you see the Fourier transform of f of x therefore, which is e power minus mod x, is nothing but root of 2 by pi into 1 by 1 plus s square, and this is nothing but your f of s. So we have completed the first part by finding out the Fourier transform, which we have to further use it for all other remaining cases. So the main part here, we should ensure that we do it and get it without any mistakes so that we can proceed further correctly. So now you see you have 1 by 1 plus s square in the right hand side as your answer. Let me call this result as 1. Now let me go to the next part, which is part 2, where I have to deduce a result. Let me write down what is the result we have to show to prove that, or to show that integral 0 to infinity cos of xt is it xt divided by 1 plus t square dt is equal to something. So you see it is pi by 2 e to the power minus mod x. Now if you notice that you have 1 by 1 plus s square here, and you have 1 plus t square here. So that means your integral is using f of s in it. So there is some f of s being used here. Numerator don't bother. But 1 by 1 plus s square is already there. So here you have f of s. And when you have f of s as an integrand, what is the formula I asked you to recall? Yes, inversion formula. So this result is obtained using inversion formula. Let's start it off. We have said before we start with the inversion formula, there is a small prelude that we'll do. So as f of x is an even function of x, we always started writing this so that we can avoid many other steps. We said this is by part 1. So how did you understand this? This is by part 1. So what happens therefore? Its Fourier transform is an even function, is also an even function, but of which variable? Of s. Now this is where we use the property. So this is by one of the properties we learned that if the original function is even, its Fourier transform is also even. Therefore, what do you conclude about f of s into cos of sx? So f of s into cos of sx, again, because this is even, it's even into even again is giving us an even function of s. So the first product is an even function of s, and look at the second one, f of s into sine sx. So sine of sx, what is this now? This will be even into odd, which is again an odd function. So you may say that it's always going to be odd. Should we write all these steps? You need to, friends. If you don't, then you may go wrong by just simply assuming. So it's a matter of a few seconds. So please have patience and then rewrite the steps. Now, by definition of what? Of inverse Fourier transform. Now we are taking we are ready to write down the definition of inverse Fourier transform. We write f inverse of f of s is equal to, let's write the definition first, 1 by root 2 pi integral minus to plus infinity f of s e power minus isx. If you remember that that's the kernel, integration is performed with respect to s. Now what are we going to do? We are going to rewrite e power minus isx, right? We are going to write e power minus isx as cos sx minus I sin sx. So this will be now left hand side. Don't forget, left hand side is nothing but f of x. Let me write it of f of x, and then I split the integral as f of s into cos sx. Then I can split them minus I by root 2 pi, then omit the odd type of a function, which is minus infinity to infinity f of s sin sx ds. Now we call this to be even, this to be odd. So I'm sure you all agree that we can eliminate the odd integral, make it 0, then go ahead with even integral. And because this is even, what do we have here? This could be written as 2 by root 2 pi 0 to infinity f of s into cos of sx dx. I told you in my previous videos also when we did problems, remember that the parameter will always vary from minus infinity to plus infinity. So you will not have the limits of s being specified in any problem. So it will vary from minus infinity to infinity. But since we have 0 to infinity, perfect. So there's no need of any change of the limits here, and therefore this will be root of 2 by pi. Time has now come to substitute what f of s is. So from 1. So what is that 1? 1 is where we derived this one. Root of 2 by pi, 1 by 1 plus s square. Let us substitute that here. So this is root of 2 by pi once again into 1 by 1 plus s square cos of sx ds. Now this we got it from 1. Don't forget that. So this I am substituting from part 1. So now what happens? This root of 2 by pi into root of 2 by pi, you can multiply, write it as 2 by pi times integral 0 to infinity cos of sx divided by 1 plus s squared ds. Now did you get the result? Now look at the result that you want. It's just of the same integral. Integral cos of st xt by 1 plus t squared dx. So we can just replace our required variables, dummy variable as I said. So before I do that, I'll just rearrange the terms, and then final stage, let me change the dummy variable from s to t. So pi by 2 by pi can be going to the other side. So it is pi by 2. And then we have f of x. F of x is nothing but e power minus mod x. So let me substitute that here. So f of x is e power minus mod x, so that I can get you the similar answer as required. Now you change the dummy variable. So changing the dummy variable from, so we have the dummy variable as s. So we'll change that s to t. Okay. And now you can see the result that we have got, 0 to infinity cos of xt divided by 1 plus t square dt is equal to pi by 2 e to the power minus mod x, which we have got it exactly as required in the problem. So that completes step 2. So step 2 was an application of the inversion, which was not new to you, but still, because it's a new problem, so we thought of repeating it. Part 3. Part 3, what do we have to show? So we need to here show that integral 0 to infinity dx divided by 1 plus x squared the whole square is equal to pi by 4. Now if you look at this particular problem, in the right side, in the integrand, you have square of the function. And our f of s, if you recall, is root of 2 by pi into 1 by 1 plus s square. Don't bother about the alphabets. You look at the format. So don't you agree that we are squaring? And when you are squaring f of s and you have that as an integrand, I told you to recall your apply the Parseval's identity. So this result that we get here is an application of Parseval's identity. So I will start it off by writing down the Parseval's identity. So this particular analysis is required. Identity or theorem that you call. Parseval's identity is integral minus infinity to infinity modulus of f of s the whole square ds is equal to minus infinity to infinity modulus f of x the whole square dx. Now I start by substituting f of x and f of s on both sides. And then first step that I would like to do is, because it's an even function, both are even, isn't it? So I will first remove that minus infinity, which is uh, quite disturbing. So I will write it as 2 times 0 to infinity modulus f of s the whole square ds, 2 times 0 to infinity modulus f of x the whole square dx. I cancel out the 2 there. So we have now removed that minus infinity. Now let me substitute. The limits will be the same because for x also it is 0 to infinity. For s also it is 0 to infinity. So now let me substitute for f of s. So it's root of 2 by pi 1 by 1 plus s square. So I'm having this whole square to be done ds, and the right side is 0 to infinity e power minus mod x, that is the whole square which I have to integrate with respect to x, right? And then we'll do the simplifications. Now we shall go step by step. Now this is only very simple. Root 2 by pi the whole square is 2 by pi, so let me take that out. So I already have a 2 outside, I think, which we have cancelled out. Yes, so it is 2 by pi, and then I have here integral 0 to infinity. I don't have to do the integration part on the left side, as we are aware, because that is what is required. And this can be simplified as e power minus x the whole square. So it's 2x dx, because what is the reason here? Again, the same reason, that mod x is equal to x in the interval 0 infinity. And so we have x into 2. So now we shall take it up forward. Go ahead, take out 2 by pi to the other side. So it becomes 1 by 1 plus s square the whole square ds is equal to pi by 2 times integrate e power minus 2x, e power minus 2x divided by minus 2, the limits varying from 0 to infinity. Now if you see, you have again the expression of e power minus infinity. So this becomes minus pi by 4, if I may write so, e power minus infinity minus e power 0. E power minus infinity, as I told you a few minutes back, is 0, and therefore it's minus pi by 4 into 0 minus 1. So what have we got finally is integral 0 to infinity 1 by 1 plus s square the whole square ds is nothing but pi by 4. But now he wanted the result in x, so we change the dummy variable. So you can change the dummy variable x to s. So I shall write it this way. So changing the variable s to x. So what is the result? Finally I get 0 to infinity 1 by 1 plus x square the whole square is the result that was required, which is pi by 4, and that completes part 3. All right. Now we have completed with the application of the definition, inversion and Parseval's. Now time to use the properties. So let's start with part 4 and see what we have to prove. So here we have to show that integrate Fourier transform of x into e power minus mod x is equal to I into root of 2 by pi into 2s divided by 1 plus s square the whole square. Now this is the result we have to prove. Let's go back to one of the properties and let me write it down here for you. So we have learned one of the properties which stated that Fourier transform of x power n into f of x, when we multiply it, and I also told you that we shall use this in problems, it is minus I whole to the power n d power n by ds power n of f of s. So the power n is nothing but the power of x that we have in our question. Now here if you see, n is equal to 1 because you are having x in 2. So when you talk about x, this means x to the power 1. So n is equal to 1, and f of s, which we have already proved. What is f of s? We have proved from part 1. It is root of 2 by pi into 1 by 1 plus s square. So everything is known. So we just have to apply the formula and substitute. So, but therefore, let me begin by writing down the property. So the Fourier transform of the property is written. So I put n equal to 1 in that and write this as minus I d by ds of f of s. So there's nothing else to do apart from substitution of f of x and f of s and do the differentiation. So it is minus I into d by ds of, now let me substitute f of s, which is root of 2 by pi into 1 by 1 plus s square. Now when I differentiate this, now this of course is a simple one. Let me do it. So it's minus I, you can use your quotient rule, minus I into root of 2 by pi. Let me keep it as it is. Now 1 plus s square you have in the denominator whole square. So the first term is 0 and the second term is minus 2s here, and therefore minus into minus becomes plus. So the Fourier transform of x e power minus mod x therefore is the plus sign I into root of 2 by pi into 2s divided by 1 plus s square the whole square. Haven't we got the answer? Yes. And that was just a simple application of a formula. So we didn't do anything else but applied the formula, substituted whatever we have found so far, and that gave you the result by the property. So this is a very important property that we normally use and we are given in exams too. So please understand that here n became 1, so it was very easy. Normally they don't give you higher powers of n in examinations. So let's go back to property number 4. So let's see now part 4 and see what property to apply there. So here we have to show that a Fourier transform of e power minus mod x cos 2x is equal to root of 2 by pi times s square plus 5 divided by s power 4 minus 6s square plus 25. Looks big, but mind you, it's just a substitution of modulation property. So we are going to use the modulation property, and what told us that we have to use this property? You see the left hand side, if you see, this is nothing but f of x. This is of the form cos ax. So Fourier transform of f of x into cos ax we have already learnt in property number 4 if I am not wrong, and that's equal to 1 by 2 times f of s plus a plus f of s minus a. Meaning just to replace your s and a here in the function f of s. That's all. So here f of x. Let me write down what is a here. If you compare the coefficient of x here, it is 2x, here it's ax. So a is equal to 2, and we already have f of s as root of 2 by pi into 1 by 1 plus s square. So now you see. Now let us start with the formula. Here f of x is equal to e to the power minus mod x, and capital F of s is equal to, this is my mod x, and this is root of 2 by pi into 1 by 1 plus s square. What does my formula require? F of s plus a, f of s minus a, meaning f of s plus 2, f of s minus 2. What does that mean? Wherever I have an s, I replace it by s plus 2. So it becomes 1 by 1 plus s plus 2 the whole square. And similarly, what is f of s minus a, that is f of s minus 2, root of 2 by pi, 1 by 1 plus s minus 2 the whole square. Now let me write down the substitution and then let us simplify it to see if we are getting the answer as required. So therefore, the Fourier transform of e to the power minus mod x cos 2x is equal to 1 by 2 into, both have, you're substituting these two expressions in the result, right? So it is 1 by 2 which is already outside according to the formula. Both these terms have root of 2 by pi. I shall take them out and I just have to add them. So 1 by 1 plus s plus 2 the whole square plus 1 by 1 plus s minus 2 the whole square. What I need to do is a little of LCM and simplification to see that I get the answer. So this becomes 1 by 2 into root of 2 by pi. If you agree that the denominator here is 1 by s square plus 4s plus 5, and here the denominator will be s square minus 4s plus 5. So what do you see here? 1 by 2 root of 2 by pi. So when you compare them, when you take the LCM, you have this to be s power 4, s square plus 5, and then minus 4s here. And so let me simplify it so that you can get the clarity. S square plus 4s plus 5 divided by the product of the two. So this becomes s square plus 5 the whole square minus 16s square. So when I simplify this, 4s gets cancelled in the numerator, and because it is 2 times, this gets cancelled, and it is 2 times, so I can cancel out the 2 with 1 by 2 outside. So I may write it as root of 2 by pi. In the numerator, it is s square plus 5 divided by, because I've cancelled out the 2, and now I get s power 4 minus, here I get 16 s square, 16s square, and then I have here 2s square and 10s square, so it gives you minus 6s square, and the constant term is 5 square, so it is 25. So do you see that we have got the result? Yes, e power minus mod x cos 2x. The Fourier transform of this was only a substitution of this modulation property. So we just had to simplify the denominator to get the result, and hence we have proved all the steps. So we have now attempted all the categories in this particular problem. So a very important problem it is. So we have used the definition of Fourier transform, then we have used the definition of the inversion, then we have used the definition of the statement of the Parseval's theorem or identity that we call, and then we have applied the Fourier transform of x power n f of x property, and then we have applied the modulation property in this particular problem. So a very important and an applicative problem that we have done. I hope you have all understood it and benefited out of it. Please attempt more problems in this kind. And if you have any doubts, you may please post your comments in the comment box. Thank you for your patience. Let's meet in my next video. Take care.